We have to open our minds to the infinite possibilities of what the cosmos has to offer.
What have you got there?
Divine inspiration.
What's up, guys? Your boy, Benny. The truth shall set you free. This is obviously the anchoring cornerstone of our program, and it is so wonderful to see this spread throughout the internet and also spread to people who have been previously deplatformed and censored for telling the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones is one of those people. Alex Jones had a centrally coordinated deplatforming on all major platforms, one of the first people, the canary in the coal mine, to see if the superstate could actually orchestrate something like this. And so it actually locked down some of the more interesting programming that Alex Jones was doing at the time, including, but not limited to, an interview with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan stopped by the Alex Jones studio in the year 2020 and absolutely went bananas. It was such an interesting interview, and now Alex Jones, having the time of his life back on X, thank you, Elon, is releasing the interview in its full capacity. Now, it's a 2.5-hour interview, and we thought we'd go through it and show you some of the more fascinating and interesting conversational topics that the two of them talked about. Obviously, two of the most interesting and listened to men in America, in the world. Joe Rogan's the most listened to man on planet Earth. And Alex Jones, one of the most interesting men on Earth. And we thought you'd really enjoy it. Starting off with Joe Rogan's take on Joe Biden and dementia. This was like back in the day. And then following through to government overreach and a bunch of other very important, pertinent topics for our day. Please enjoy two legends, Joe Rogan and Alex Jones, together, uncensored.
Joe Biden, because you made some eloquent statements that went 5 million, 10 million views. I mean, people resonate. I think Trump used it in an ad where you're like, you know, it's like going in the woods with a flashlight with a bad battery. I think the exact
That's
quote.
exactly what I said, basically. I think...
I'm not trying to even attack Joe Biden.
No.
I'm
not
saying,
even, listen.
like, we have this crypt keeper, like,
where's the whiskey? Come on, bro.
I'm going to bring it right now.
Bring that strong...
thinking that- no,
Go get
seriously.
that strong... Alex Jones wants to get me in trouble by talking about Joe Biden. I don't understand why he'd want to do that to a friend. I hope that guy does well, honestly. My legitimate 100% feelings right now is if he wins and they've declared it and everybody other than QAnon...
Hey,
and,
I'm at a sick part of me hopes he gets in. This is entertaining as hell. Well, a reanimated corpse is president?
But don't you think
I'm
that at
asking your
this
real
point,
view.
it would be very difficult to convince the public that Trump actually won? Just the general
Yes,
public.
yes.
Whether or not you think it makes sense
No,
or
to cause
not.
a civil war, yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
No. I
That could be very
watch a
bad.
lot of your show, and I thought the things you said about him, like the flashlight. How did you
Salute.
come up with that?
It's called marijuana, sir.
No, but say it again. It's like you said, it's like going in the woods with a flashlight with a bad battery.
That's exactly what I said, basically.
But that's exactly, it's like a flashlight that goes in and out.
I think I said it was like taking a flashlight with a dying battery and going on a long walk in the woods.
That was it. That's not a good idea. I feel like we're leaving the house and it's already like fading out.
Well, listen, man, I hope the guy does well. I hope it's amazing. I hope he becomes the president and the world is a better place and the United States bounces back and everybody's happy. And
But he is a perfect symbol at the end of the country.
I genuinely hope that all of the decisions change the way the world operates and we all do better because Joe Biden is the president. That's
I get what you do, though, now. It's masterful. Because if you said, oh, he's a horrible little crypt keeper, Chicom demon, people, you're like, oh, I love him. I hope this wraith can get us out of the trouble we're in.
That's what I hope.
I hope this dead zombie with cross-eyed,
I hope someone sits
snot
him
coming out
down.
his nose can save us.
He does a mushroom ceremony and he realizes this is all nonsense. And the mushrooms fix whatever cognitive decline he may or may not be experiencing.
That's it. He needs to take DMT. Would you take DMT with Joe Biden?
100%.
How about
100%.
you and I and Joe Biden all take DMT together?
I don't know if Joe Biden would be into that, bro. I'm going to be honest with you.
No. I don't. Obviously, it's not going to happen. How about you?
You might come out of it too quick and just.
Hey, everything you say becomes national news. So let's just say you and I are both inviting. We're inviting the governor of Texas, Joe Biden, and President Trump, all all to an ayahuasca ceremony.
Yeah, I'm not going to take responsibility for that because one of them might climb up a tree and jump off of it. I don't know.
But let's just technically invite them. They're not going to come.
Listen, they're grown men. They can do what they want.
You invite them to a DMT trip at your house.
They can holler at me on Twitter. No, holler at me on Instagram.
Hey, how about Hunter? Will you invite him over? You're not a crack guy, though.
I don't think he is anymore either. So we got that in common.
Now we're going here.
Now we're going. Listen, man, I could have got hooked on crack. I think if I found crack at a low point in my life when I didn't have anything good going for me and it made me feel better than not smoking crack. I think
mean on email, but not in person. And they're even showing Zoom and things, and FaceTime aren't as good. It needs to be that personal thing.
Yeah, well, it's terrible for kids. I'm very concerned with children of this generation that are really, really young. Like, think about kids that are 2 and 3, where your personality is shaped. And then all of a sudden your parents are in a panic.
That's on my list.
You have to wear a mask.
I want your view on this.
Are we on a schedule?
No, I want to get to all this. No, we're not. But it's crazy you bring this up. So talk about screen time. Talk about the crisis of dehumanization, us being taken out of the environment. What are we becoming?
Well, it sucks. It sucks for kids. I'm genuinely concerned for kids. I understand the concern in terms of protecting people from the disease. And I understand entirely how, look, if kids get it, then they give it to their parents. I understand. I'm not, this is not a judgment on whether or not they should have locked kids out of school. I'm not qualified to make that distinction or decision rather, but it is a discussion of like what it's like to be a child. Like there's a gentleman that I met recently and he had a young daughter and his daughter was maybe a year and a half old and he's holding her in his arms. And I go, hello, like I'm talking and he goes, she is uncomfortable meeting people because she didn't meet anybody for the first 8 months of her life. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Major
I never
trauma.
thought of that. All that baby ever saw was its home, the people in the home. Like everyone was afraid of the disease.
It's like a pod person.
Well, it's like a kid growing up in an unfair environment. Like it's unfair for the little kid. Obviously, I get it. I understand the precautions had to be put in place. I understand why it happened. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, imagine being a baby. Like they say there's a certain time period, like Gabor Mate was talking about this when he was talking about addictions and trauma and the way your personality develops. That a lot of children's, he was on London Real, this podcast on YouTube, and he was saying that a lot of children, their personality really is develops by the time they're 3 years old.
That's right.
So imagine if you're 2 years old and then for the next 8 months, all you're experiencing is people with masks on and everyone's afraid. Everyone's afraid to go outside.
Well, as you know, in MK Ultra, when they tortured thousands of children as declassified, they would wear a mask for years with the children. They would never see a human face. Oof. And so, Joe, you're being nice kind of from the lawyer angle. I'm not saying you're a lawyer. I'm saying the lawyers say, if we can save one person, we've got to do X, Y, Z. But if it causes more cancer death, more heart attacks that aren't treated, if it causes more suicide, if it causes the birth rate to go down by half this year of what it used to be, and if it starves millions to death in the third world from the lockdown, not from COVID, but the lockdown hysteria, well, then we learn what the Great Reset is, and this is really a depopulation hysteria weapon.
Well, I think for sure we have to recognize that in the beginning, everybody thought it was going to be way worse than it is, and there's no way anybody could have known.
They said 4% death rates.
But in the beginning, you're getting bad information from China, right? You're not getting the actual truth of the numbers or how they're doing it. I can remember watching a truck drive down a city street in China, and they were spraying disinfectant out the side of the truck.
Very apocalyptic.
Very apocalyptic. And most people like myself that don't know jack shit about virology are sitting at home looking at that going, oh my God.
What the f***? It's the end of the world.
We're all going to die. Like, what the f*** is going to happen? And then as time went on and more people that we knew got it and recovered from it, and then the numbers came in, they realized, okay, this is not as bad as they thought it was going to be, but it's still bad for people that have issues, right? For people with comorbidities. And then it became, would we have done this lockdown had we known it was going to be what it was versus what it was when we initially thought it was going to be? We initially thought it was going to kill 10% of the population.
Sure, but now the population.
But understand that a lot of these conspiracies that people fabricate or put together, I should say, construct after the fact, is trying to figure out how we got to where we got, thinking that there was some grand plan. And this is my number one problem with conspiracy theories, is that they're looking at it after it's done, not recognizing or being honest about the absolute confusion that encompasses, that it encases all chaotic events.
No, I agree. A lot of people, because you've given me a lot of great UFC tickets, been really nice to me for 20 plus years, and I've never really gotten you anything. And I've seen people give you gifts on the show. It's usually some PR thing that they're selling. I don't own any stock in this. It's a great rifle. I really enjoy it. And so this is something where you can go get 4 or 5 grizzly bears. 6
That's so Texas.
grizzly bears at the same time.
What are these rounds?
Guys, bring the rifle in here. So this is your gift, along with that box of cigars.
Thank you very much.
Now, this is my rifle, and it became my favorite gun the last year.
Oh, no.
Now you shoot bullseye at 400 yards all day long.
Is this a setup? Are you trying to give me a rifle you whack somebody with?
No.
I'm going to find it
But we
in
do
my
have
garage.
a form later just to sign over that it's yours. Bring it in here. So, and let's bring some of the magazines. Thank you, Tim. There you go. It's all yours, Joe.
That looks like a real problem to have.
This is the Petra 300 Win Mag. Best materials, made in Montana, 0 compromises. They're not a sponsor. Wow. I bought this gun about a year ago, and it holds like 10 rounds, and you can shoot 400 yards bullseye all day long with this baby.
That's so Texas.
It's all yours now,
Thank
buddy.
you very much. Appreciate
There you go.
it.
Here's a bunch
Thanks.
of, check it out. And I'm telling you, this is the gun you want to take with you, because I know you hunt elk and stuff. So,
Well, I generally use a bow and arrow.
I know. I bow hunt too, but
I
you
hear
elk hunt with a bow and arrow, huh?
I think I made a decision recently to stop buying domestic pork. I
There's so much
very
wild hogs.
rarely, especially here. I'm like, while I'm here, like they want you to kill the pigs.
I've
They
got a little
actually have
farm
to.
just outside Austin that has over 50 pigs every night on the deer feeder. So if you get any of them you want, you can have.
It's a crazy place, like Texas, in regards to wild feral hogs. It's really wild. When you
Joe, pick up the rifle and try it out a little bit. I mean, don't shoot it.
try it out.
You know what I mean? Just check it out.
Let's just put it away. I know what a rifle is. I got a bunch of them.
All right.
How Texas is this? Look at this. This is how America thinks of the world. They meet, they give each other a weapon.
That's right. You will get the weapon.
Is that
I brought
racist?
this to you, though.
Sorry.
No, for your defense of the First Amendment. I loved it when you had
Thank
the Twitter
you.
CEO on.
Well, the First Amendment is very important, as is the Second Amendment. It's amazing how those dudes who started this country hundreds of years ago, they figured out some just key patterns of behavior that human beings follow into, and they decided to try to protect them from those. They understood that there's going to be people that want you disarmed. It changes who you are. You know, it makes you more fearful. It makes you more reliant on the government. You know, and it doesn't mean you support mass shootings. It doesn't mean you support murder. It doesn't mean you support gang violence. That's not what it means. And they conflate those things together as if there could be no good in owning a firearm. There's a lot of people out there who are alive right now because they owned a firearm and they protected their loved ones. Even if people have done terrible things, and I agree they have, it doesn't discount the fact that people should be able to protect themselves and have protected themselves from
So somebody's
violent
bad
criminals.
behavior
Right.
doesn't take away your rights. Just somebody else runs over somebody
exactly.
with a car.
It is a problem. It is a problem, but the solution is not a giant eraser that gets rid of an amendment. That's not what it should be. The solution is figuring out how to stop people from ever getting to the position where they would want to kill people.
Well, it's always those weird incels that do it.
It's not always. Like sometimes
Almost
it's people
always.
that are medicated. Sometimes it's people that have
But
brain
in schools,
injuries.
it's usually kind of
Sometimes.
the black trench coat mafia.
Well, those kids get tortured. You know, I couldn't imagine being like. I remember watching that movie. There was a documentary on Columbine, and I was watching those kids, and I was like, can you imagine getting to the point where you just wanted to go to school to kill everybody? It's a heinous thing to do. It's a horrible thing to do. But what the happened to those kids?
Well, they were also both on
Yes.
antipsychotics,
Yes.
which on the inserts after that they had to admit can cause you to not have the restraint you would have before. It gets rid of the governor.
Yes. It does something different to everybody's brain. Is also part of the problem. Like,
Yeah, for
it
most
might
people it's
work,
not bad, but for a
right.
few percentages, it's
Right. It
boosts their. Yeah.
And I've had friends that get on SSRIs or antidepressants, and a lot of them, it's saved their lives. It's made them a better, happier person. They needed to get over a hump. They needed to find a way out of a real dark place that they were in. But they'll tell you, the doctors will tell you, like, we're going to try different medications on
It's
you.
an experiment.
They want to find out which one works. They know it's not exact in terms like, oh, you're Alex Jones, you got your DNA, we sequenced it. Now we know that you will interface absolutely 100% with this particular medication. But then they go to, but you, Joe Rogan, you have different DNA. We're going to need this one. They don't have it that dialed in yet, but they have it dialed in to a point where with some people, two of my very good friends changed their, very talented, very funny. Those videos are hilarious too.
So is Tim Dillon.
Oh, Tim Dillon's a genius. He's
By
a
the way,
genius.
he was pretty big before but you kind of put him on the radar.
Well, I met him. I got in contact with him because he wrote something really poignant on Instagram once about comedy and about stand-up. And I read it. I was like, wow, this guy loves stand-up. He like really loves stand-up. And I contacted him on Instagram. And we went back and forth. And then I met him at the Comedy Store. And we did some podcasts together. We did a lot of shows together. We had a lot of fun together. And
he's more of a guy that isn't liberal or conservative, more common sense and funny, street smart, really gets it.
yeah, I wouldn't say he's a gay guy who kind of leans a little right, but he's very open-minded, obviously. And he's also like very intelligent. And really one of the things about the podcast that you and I did recently, which was great, was like he knew all the crazy shit that you were talking about. He was well aware of it and could bring up dates and understand who the players were and what the conspiracy is and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, he's freaked me out with the time you introduced me to him a year or so ago when he came to the studio, how much he listens. But he also researched everything I was saying and was blown away that most of it was accurate.
He's a super smart guy. So one of the things that I like to do as a person that has a show that a lot of people listen and watch is I like to introduce people, like talented people. I want to give them a boost. When I see a guy like that, he's also wild, right? Like that guy, he's not going to get sanctioned by NBC or CBS. He's too wild. Like the shit he says is crazy. Like his Meghan McCain impression.
I love it.
Is amazing. It's amazing. And I think Meghan McCain's a nice person. It's not.
But it's okay to make fun of someone.
It's not even making fun. He's doing a character that is not Meghan McCain. It's Meghan McCain, but it's clearly a psychotic, over the top,
Yeah.
like a coked up Meghan McCain. It's not really her. So it's
Well,
funny.
absolutely.
But my point is,
But she's a public figure, so she's fair game.
as are you, as am I.
Well, see,
right?
that's why people have really
Yeah.
embraced me because I love being made fun of.
Yes.
I don't get folks that don't like it. I love it.
No, you get a kick out of it. But I think that like for a guy like Tim Dillon, he needs someone like you or someone like me or other people that aren't scared of the blowback to give him a platform, to give him a boost.
Well, you've certainly done that. Everybody, and again, he's exploding.